So this section is about hyperbolas. So this is going to be page 2 of your notes. You'll notice that everything in the last section was joined by addition and equaled 1, whereas hyperbolas are joined by subtraction and equal 1. Okay, so obviously order matters with subtraction. So if we're leading off with x's, in other words, this term is positive, that means they're going to shoot off away from each other left, right. Okay, if you're leading off with y's, so that y chunk is positive, that means they're going to be shooting off from each other in an up, down. Okay, so that's what you need to pay attention to. What's going to also change a little bit is that our Pythagorean relation is going to be a true Pythagorean relation. In other words, we have the sum of the denominators will equal c squared, and then that's what we add and subtract for the foci. Okay. Your vertices, you're only going to have one vertex for each portion of the hyperbola because, like I said, it's parabolas that are shooting away from each other. And then probably in the second video, we're going to hit the asymptotes, which are actually really easy. But that is what we are doing. So let us formalize. We've got an x squared over 9. Oh no! It's the last problem because I ran out of time. So if you'll notice, 1089 minus 484 plus c squared, and then you take the square root of both sides. And so the little man has to be this far away from the center. Anyway, sorry. All right, so we have x squared over 9 minus, so that tells you that we are in hyperbola world, over 25, and that equals 1. So since we're leading off with x's, that tells you that this is going to be a left, right. So if you notice your options, I'm going to bring this up here so you can see in detail this time. Okay, this opens up, down. Okay, so that would lead off with y's. This one opens left, right. This one opens left, right. This one opens up, down. So we know it's either B or C because we're leading off positive. Okay, your vertices, it's not technically the center, I guess. It kind of is the center. But you'll notice the symmetry on this one. 0, 0 is the center of where the vertices would be. Okay, same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. So we don't have anything added or subtracted, so this thing is symmetric about the origin. And I do know that it's going to open left, right, and so I've just got to figure out where to go from there. Okay, so here's what I know. From the center, I'm going to take this square root and go left and right that far. Okay, so this square root is 9. So from the center, I'm going to go left and right 3. So this point right here is at negative 3, 0. And this point right here is at positive 3, 0. Okay. Now this is going to come in later when we do asymptotes, but this will also tell you how wide it opens. So from here, we're going to go up and down 5. So up and down 5. And then what you end up doing is you draw this little rectangle that goes through all of the vertices, and then the asymptotes travel through the corners. Oh, that was so pretty. The corners of your rectangles. Okay. And then this arm gets guided by that asymptote, and this arm gets guided by that asymptote. Okay. So that ends up guiding what you have. Now, here we go. What do we have? What do I have? I have a left, right, so it's either this one or this one. Okay. And from there, I need to figure, oh, holy cow, I'm looking at the wrong picture. All right, it's either this one or this one. And so I can also see where the foci are. Okay. So the foci, again, is a true Pythagorean relation. So I've got an a squared and a b squared. So a squared and b squared is going to give me, hang on, I just forgot what they were, 9 and 25. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 9 and 25 is 34. Okay. And that equals c squared. Take a square root, and you get plus or minus root 34. Well, the square root of 34 is almost 6. Okay. So, because the square root of 36 is 6. All right. So this is almost 6. So here's what we think about. If we come back over here, what that means, where's my pretty picture, is the foci, because I just found out that it's the square root of 34, yes? So from the center, I'm going to go left and right root 34. and that's going to be where the foci are. So the arms of the hyperbola hug the foci. Okay, the arms of the hyperbola hug the foci. So this is my really, really crappy picture, is what this is. And then that goes this way. Okay, and you'll notice that these arms, the foci, are inside of the arms. Okay, so your location for the foci is how far left and right did I go. I started at 0, and I went left and right root 34. So go right root 34 and go left root 34, and that's going to be where your foci are. Okay. So again, if you'll notice, this is going to be pretty easy to. I forgot to tell you about the graph. You'll notice this one went left and right 3, whereas this one went left and right 5. Okay, or something like that. So it's going to be pretty easy. You don't need to plot points or anything. You just have to recognize where the vertices are. Why do I think my mouth is messing up again? All right, so let's try number 2, and let's make it pretty this time. I got a y squared over a 49. So y squared over 49 minus x squared over 4 is 1. So I know it's a hyperbola because I got subtraction. I know it opens up down because my y term is positive. Okay, so from the center, because there's nothing being added or subtracted, so my center is at 0, 0. I need to know how far up and down I go to get to the vertices. So I'm going to go up and down 7. So this is a 0, 7. And then this is a 0, negative 7. And so that is where your vertices are going to be for how this thing opens up and down. Okay. Left and right, how far would you go? So I would go this way and I would go this way. So there's your little box, which you don't have to draw yet, but I just want to get you in the habit of it. Okay. So I'm looking for an up down, and then I need to know what the location of my foci are. So remember, since it opens up down, the foci will be, the arms are going to hug the foci. Okay. So from here, I have a 49 plus a 4 will equal c squared. So I get 53 is c squared, which is a little bit more than 7, because the square root of 49 is 7. So I got the square root of 53. And so my foci is going to be from the center. I did not move left and right, but I did go up root 53. And I did go down root 53. And that's the location of my foci. Okay, so let's do it again. We have find the standard form of the equation of the hyperbola satisfying the given conditions. So here's what I know. I got foci at 0, negative 5. And at 0, positive 5. And I've got vertices at 0, 1, and at 0, negative 1. Negative 1. Okay? So these are the foci, and these are the vertices. So that being said, remember the arms hug the foci. So if my vertices are at 0, 1, and at 0, negative 1, okay? My foci are at 0, 5, and 0, negative 5, well, now I know that my arms hug each point for the foci. So I know I'm going to lead off positive. Okay. So I got a y squared minus an x squared equals 1. Okay. And I need to know how far up and down did I go to get to the foci. Well, the vertices. I went up and down 1. Okay, so how far did I go? I went 1, square it, so this is a 1. Okay, how far up and down did I get to the foci? I went up and down 5. So here's what you've got. I know that this thing squared plus this thing squared will equal c squared. So 1 squared plus whatever this is, b squared, will equal this distance from the center squared. Okay. So that gives me, remember to square this, because I went up 5, down 5. So 5 squared is 25. So my b squared is 24, and now stop, because you remember you want your denominator to be the squared form. So don't take a square root at that point. You're filling in standard form, so that's your standard form. Okay, let's do another one. We have, I'm trying to get to where we can do the asymptotes. All right, So we have, I'm flipping. So it says I got foci at negative 8, 0 and at 8, 0. So my foci are at negative 8, 0 and at positive 8, 0. And then my vertices are at 3, 0 and negative 3, 0. Okay, so plot your vertices first. So I went right 3, left 3. So right 3, left 3. I know my foci are at negative 8, 0 and positive 8, 0, and the arms will hug the foci. So there we go. And now what is your standard form? Okay, so what do I know first? It's opening left, right, so I'm going to lead off with x squared over, and then minus y squared over equals 1. Okay, how far left and right did I go to get to the vertices? I went left and right 3 units, so square it. You get 9. Okay, now I got to figure out what this is. So I've got a squared plus b squared equals the square of this distance. So how did I get to the foci? I went from the center, left and right 8. So that squared is 64. So b squared is going to be 64 minus 9 is going to be 55. And stop, because you want the squared form to be your denominator. So he's 55. Okay? All right. So we are going to, I'm going to pause there and pick up because we're going to start introducing asymptotes on the next one. And hopefully I can get this done in 2 videos. Hang on. All right.